Good morning, good evening to all. Hope you're doing great. So we'll start for today. We have done till this, and also I've advised you to do something. I'm not sure if you've done it or not. So what you do is, anyway, this is slightly a bigger data model. If you can do that, that's better. Otherwise, what you can do, you can create this data model. Creation is very easy, not a big deal at all. Configuring the match rule, that is also easy but slightly different. So configuring the match rule, again I'm explaining you this. The challenge here is, one second. See, otherwise what you can do is you don't need to create all this big thing because anyway this is a big project. You don't need to spend that much time. You create a party table, create a contact table, direct relationship. Then you create a uh, address table and party ADDR table. So this is one to one, and this one is one to many. Plus you create one lookup table, just one. One is enough to understand what is the impact and all that. Okay, so you do that, then everything will be normal. Okay, everything is documented here, the party matching sheet and all that. The only thing to note is, like in party, the match and merge configuration is specified here. Contact, it's a it will be based on exact matching. Address will also be based on exact matching. But see here, first you have two records, let's say 1 and 3. You merge the two records. Let's say the survivor is 1. So earlier you had two records here. In the party ID you had 1 and 3. Now it is 1. So you join address with party ADDR table, and then you do exact matching on the party ID. Exact matching on the party ID. So for address you do the exact matching on the party ID. And once you match and merge this one, then you can do it this one. And no need to explain that this is a lookup table. So first data should be present in the lookup table. Lookup will always be a parent table. Anywhere in the world, lookup will always be a parent table. So you can see that here for country address, country is my parent table, this is my child table, right? So once you practice on this, then you will be comfortable with creating bigger data models. So if you can create something like that, it's better, but not necessary, because the main objective is to understand. So just create party, contact, party ADDR, address. So when you're doing that, you can delete your old data model, and then, or you can change your old data model to do that. All these columns are not necessary. Okay, you can just create basic columns. So all these columns, that's not a big deal, not necessary. Just try to understand how it's done. Doing it is not a big deal. Okay, right, now let's move on to, we have hierarchies, we have user exits. Let's do the user exit today. Okay, let's try to understand and implement the user exit. Now user exit, that's the topic. So hierarchy will do it, but let's first do the user exit. Okay, straight to the point. What is user exit? User exit is customization in the sense, uh, let me try to relate this with a different software. Let's say if I talk about Power Center, or let's say an ETL tool like Power Center, then if you go to Power Center, then you have something called as preload, you have something called as postload. And the most common thing that we do is we drop the indexes in a preload, and in postload we create the index. That's a basic thing in any project that we implement, right? So this feature, preload postload, is nothing but that same thing is called as user exit in MDM. In MDM we call the same thing as user exits, right? So basically user exits is nothing but customization at a particular point. For example, in MDM, if I go, then I have SRC, let's say SRC, then I have landing tables, then I have staging, then I have the base object, then I have the match, then merge, and if needed, unmerge. Source, landing, staging, base object, match, merge, unmerge. I have all these tables. I mean, this is not table, sorry. This is the architecture, data flow, right? Now, earlier, I'm not sure if you know Power Center or not, so I'll not refer to that. I'll just explain here. See here. So I want some customization. You see the arrow? So here, before the arrow, after the arrow, I want some customization. You understand? I want some customization before staging or after staging, before base object, after base object, before matching is done, after matching is done. Then that's what is called as the user exit. So when I say customization, now what is a customization? Um, Customization basically means something that you're not getting as a built-in product. As a built-in product, let's say that you want ice cream and coffee together, like mixed. If you go to a cafeteria, they will not give that. So for that thing, you have to customize it. So if you want anything out of something different, and that is not provided as a product or something, then you go with customization. So it means that there are a lot of things. Let's say client gives you a requirement. Client tells you that, okay, this thing you need to do, right? And you analyze that as per your knowledge. You understood this much that you can't implement it because there is, by default, you can't do it because in the tool, you don't have any way of doing it directly. Then what you do is, then you go to the user exits. And user exit is simple. It's just a program that runs before or after, before or after. So there are many types of user exit because you can run before staging, after staging. So I have two different user exits now, before staging, after staging. Similarly, I have before base object, after base object, before matching, after matching, right? So I have different user exits that will run before or after. So if I go through this, see here, I have these are the different types of user exits that I have. I have in the staging process some user exits, load process, uh, pre in the match process, pre-match, post-match, then I have pre-unmerge, post-unmerge, like that. Okay, now I've said enough on customization, but technically what is customization? I mean, when I say customization, what exactly do I mean when I say customization? What kind of customization? Now, customization will always be different in different projects because that's why it's called as customization. But still, to understand that, let's take some use cases. So let's say that if I open here, then this contains a lot of use cases that in any of this case, you will see user exit is implemented, right? In any of this case, you will see that user exit has to be implemented. Okay. Now, just one second. Okay, sorry for the delay. Right. Now let's check the use cases. So, so you can see there are actually 10 cases, and most of this, not most, all of these cases are actually real-time practical cases. So you can pick anything, and you will see that in all of the cases user exit has to be implemented. The first one is the only requirement which can be implemented without user exits. That's the only thing. And remaining all of it, you have to implement the user exits. Right? Now, let's check the second one, this requirement. Let's try to understand the whole scenario. Right? See, the requirement says that the business requirement detect the delta count, log it in an audit or archive table every day. Simple logic, isn't it? So let's say if your delta is enabled, then you detect the count. You detect the count of the delta records, okay? And then you store the count in an table, log table or an audit table every day. It means that logic is simple. See, let's say I have a source system CCAR. So today I'm getting 1000 records, tomorrow 3000 records, after that let's say 8k records, after that I'm getting 5k records. So every day I'm getting some records. I want to store this in a table, this count in a table. So can you, with the knowledge that you have gained from this training, do you think that you can implement this using some by clicking some button here? You can't do that. You can enable delta, that's okay, but this requirement, taking the count, you can't do it. It's not possible. So to implement that requirement, that thing, you have to go with the user exit concept. Okay, and first of all, why is it important to take the count? It is important because of two reasons. First is it gives you an idea on the uh, increase in data volume. For example, if you do a graph, then you will understand that okay, every day I'm getting almost like 8,000 records, so that's how my MDM is increasing, and I need to plan accordingly. I need to uh, allocate this much space to my MDM so that I don't get any issues. So that is one thing. And second, and the most important thing is, let's imagine that your source is secure and there was some batch update, some data fix in secure, and that data fix impacted uh, 1 million records. So what will happen now? You will see that 1 million records last update date will change. So on that day, you might get 1 million records in your delta. Now that happens on a Monday evening. On Monday evening, that's the case. You're getting 1 million records. Okay. So what is the problem here? The problem is you can't process 1 million records on a working day, because if you do that, this will take one day and that will disturb the whole schedule of other jobs. So it's not possible for me to process. So what I'll do is I will check if it's greater than 20,000, you fail the job. You inform the source team that you don't, this is not the correct way. Okay. So, and we can't process these records, this many records today. Probably we'll do it on Saturday evening or Sunday evening, non-business hours. So because of these reasons, business might ask you to implement these two. So you have to implement this requirement. So to implement this, now that's the business functional case, right? So to implement that, what I need to do, see, internally, the delta is calculated and stored in a table called as underscore DLT. Underscore DLT is a table that is temporarily created and dropped. So it will be created for just temporarily, right? And then it's again dropped, this table. And what happens is this table, if you check the logs, will contain all your delta records. So let's say today if you're getting 5,000 delta records, that will be there in this table. Okay. So what you need to do is, frankly speaking, all what you need to do is you just need to execute a SQL statement like this. You just need to take the count. So something like this, count, select count from this delta table and store that in this table. Okay, store it in this archive table. So simple, right? You just need to execute this SQL statement. So why do I need user exit? Because if I have to execute a SQL statement, I can also use a Unix script or a SQL script to do that. Why would I need user exit? I will need a user exit because timing, because of the timing issue. Because see, can you tell me when this table is created? What time exactly? Can you tell me when this is created? You can't. You can tell me because only Informatica knows when this is created. So Informatica will create this table temporarily, insert data. Once the work is done, drop the table. It simply drops the table. So you have no idea when this table was created, when this is dropped. So if you want to execute this statement, you should have the precise timing. Otherwise, you can understand. If the table is not created and if you execute this SQL statement, it will throw an error. So it means that one thing is clear. I can't execute this statement as a Unix script or as a SQL script or as a PL SQL. I can't do it because of the timing issue. So that's where user exit comes into picture. So you have to implement a pre-stage user exit here. So in the pre-stage user exit, you just put this program. You understand the logic is very simple. I want to execute this SQL statement. I can't do it directly because of the timing issue. So I will use a pre-stage user exit to execute this program. So pre-stage user exit will make sure that this SQL statement is run at that particular time, right? That's what is the concept of the user exit, right? Similarly, I have something called as a another pre-stage user exit, which I have explained just now. So if count exceeds 20,000 per day, then fail the job, right? Similarly, I have any customization on the rejected records. So let's say that you every day records are getting rejected. Let's say today 100 records, tomorrow 10 records. Now you know that the reject table is like a truncate load table. Not exactly, but it's like a truncate load table. So since it's a truncate load table, right? So whatever you write and when you again run the job, it's erased, right? But you want to analyze, you would like to analyze that, okay, what happened to all the rejected records? Let's say uh, 3 days back, a customer was rejected. You want to analyze the customer now. To analyze that, that should be there in some table, right? It will not be there in reject table because it's truncated. So you need to archive the rejected table, right? So that is another use case. Then put records on hold for certain group of data. The business will clearly tell you that, okay, for these records, you put them on hold. So you don't run the match merge process. You simply load them and then leave as it is, right? So in that case, it's very simple. You can see that all what I need to do is just execute this SQL statement. That's my objective. Let's say this is a group Let's say for all the persons or all or let's say for all companies, organizations, right? Business will tell you. So you just need to execute this SQL statement. Now, why I can't do it outside again uh, using a script? Because of the timing issue. I don't know when data is loaded, right? So similarly, I have other requirements like change the consolidation indicator to 4 for all updated records. This is used only in some projects. So the objective is if a record is updated, there are chances that, let's say earlier, the matching was based on the name called as Sunil. Now it is Sunil Kumar Mohanty. Let's say there was an update and the name got changed to Sunil Kumar Mohanty. So earlier, what was a match, now it could be a no match, possibly, right? So because of that, I want to again perform the match and merge. So I'm changing the consolidation indicator to 4, right? And deleting certain records from the match table so that you accept them as unique and don't merge that. So that thing, or sending an email to the data steward with the count of the, let's say today, 200 records resulted in manual merge, right? So finding that and doing it. Okay, so that is because of all of these things you have to implement the user exit. Now see, before 961 version it was quite simple and easy to implement the user exit. So before 961 it was using the packages, so very easy. And after 961, like in 97, 10.0, 10.1, it's in Java. That is also simple, same logic, same thing. First let's see if I have to implement this requirement. Let's say, let's talk about this one. So this requirement, so this one, copy. Let's say I have to implement that requirement in older version. So what I'll do, uh, there will be a package. See, you don't need to create this package, you understand? You don't need to. This package called as CMX UE is a standard package. Informatica creates it. You don't have to create that. So by default, when you install the product, it will be there in an older version. Like for example, this one is for 901. All what you need to do here is you just go to the user exit. I want to implement not post landing, but I want to implement pre-stage. So go to pre-stage. All right, this is my pre-stage user exit. So go here, and this is where you put your custom code. Clear? That's it. Simple logic. You go there, put your custom code. So Informatica will automatically execute this particular code whenever it's necessary. Simple logic. Okay. So that's how you implement a user exit in the older version. And in the newer version, you have to do it in the Java side, for which I have already shared the programs. Now, to do that, you need Eclipse. So you can install Eclipse later. So Eclipse J Indigo SR2 Win32. Okay, I think I have already have it, so I better share that. If I have it, I'll share it. I think I have uploaded that. Yeah, so okay, I've shared the link for Eclipse. And you can also download the SOAP, which will be useful later, but you can keep it in your desktop. Not necessary now, but later. Alright. So you download that, and normally you don't need to install the Eclipse. No need to install. Just uh, unzip it, double click and open this. But before you install Eclipse, you need to install JDK, Java Development Kit. you need to install JDK. Precaution. One precaution is, most important precaution is, when you're installing JDK, you install the JDK 7. Don't install JDK 8. If you do that, you will your user exit will not run properly. So you have to install JDK 7. So JDK 7, you go here and then you download JDK 7. First install JDK 7, then just open this one. Okay, go here. Right now, once that's done, go here. Right. So for you it will be blank. Let's say that I'll also make it blank. Delete this existing things. So you will see that you will not have anything here, right? So what you do now is you go here and say new Java project. So new Java project, or you can just say new project and say Java here, and select the Java project. Same thing. Next, then the project name, I'll just say UE, user exits. See, again I'm telling you, this should be 1.7, not 1.8. It won't work 1.8. Then just say finish. So that creates a folder for me. Remember, there should not be any red mark in this folder. If it is there, there is an issue in the JDK only. Okay, you have installed a wrong JDK. So I don't have any issue. Once done, now I can create programs. So I can create a user exit program. How to do that? So already it is there. You can just copy paste that. Let's say this pre-stage UE, copy files, default package, pre-stage UE. That's my program. Just drag and drop. Right? Prestige UE. But now I can see cross marks. Now that's okay. Let's try to understand why I'm getting cross marks. I'm getting cross marks because I have not added the libraries. Once I add libraries, you will see that's gone. So let's add the libraries. So go here, properties, Java build path. Okay, add external jars, and add all these jar files. I've already shared this jar file in Google Drive, which I will also show you quickly if I can. Probably here, I think. Yeah, this one. Yeah, these libraries. Okay, all these libraries. Out of which only the important libraries 1, 2, 3. Remaining, you don't need to use it actually. This was safe. You don't need to use it 1, 2, 3. That's mandatory. Say okay. So this is gone now. You can see here that the cross mark is gone here. Okay, see the logic here is also the logic is same. The objective is that I am going to execute a procedure here. So otherwise what you can say is that what I'm doing is I have this SQL statement, like let me open the notepad plus. So I have this SQL statement, right? This SQL statement, the objective is same. Like in older version I did it using packages. Now I have to execute the same SQL statement using the Java part. Okay, so to do that I have this program. What this program does is, this is a standard program, copy paste. Means most of the things you can copy paste, but what this does is, this is nothing but my libraries. So if you are implementing a post stage, then this will be post stage. Right? So this too is a standard line. You can always copy paste. This one is also standard line. This is using the logging, and this is for using JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. Okay, then this is a standard line. You always need to implement an existing class. So public class pre-stage implements pre-stage user exit. So this must be same. This can be XYZ. So XYZ I can write, not a big deal. But this one must be the same. And this is using this Informatica will know that you are implementing a pre-stage user exit. Then this is a standard line, always copy paste. What it is doing is it's initializing the logger. This is a standard line always for the different user exit. So in this user exit, it is passing me the staging table name, landing table name, delta table name. Understand this clearly that I am not going to provide these values. Informatica will pass these values to me. I will use them in my program, right? So I'll use that in my program. Then I'm just sending some information to the log. So if you check the log files, then you will see this information that, okay, user exit, pre-stage user exit starts here. Okay. Then this is all logging. So this is not part of the program actually. You can delete that also. So this is not necessary. The main program starts here. Simple program, right? So try to understand that now using Java, I have to execute a SQL statement in Oracle. So I have to make a connection between Java and Oracle, right? I must do that. And to do that, I'm opening a connection, get database connection in Java. In the user exit context, this is also a standard line. You don't need to change it or something. Then this is null. Then this is where I'm posting my SQL statement. You might be asking that where is the SQL statement? This is a procedure. That's correct. To simplify the issue, the thing, I have written a small procedure and this procedure is calling the SQL statement. Although you can directly call the SQL statement here also, but this is better. Use a procedure and do it. That is always better, right? What this procedure does, I will show you. Basically what it does is, it's nothing but it's executing this SQL statement. That's it. It's executing this SQL statement. Okay. Now, interesting thing is, see here. So the staging table name is this. The delta table name is this, right? And you see a question mark. It means that's my first parameter. You see another question mark. That's my second parameter. Stage table name. Okay. Now if I go to the SQL program, see, this is my procedure. What it does, insert into delta logs, select count from the delta table. That's it. This is nothing but a sequence value, system date, and then the staging table name, all that. But basically what it does is, it simply is nothing but executing this SQL statement. That's it. Okay. And I'm creating a sequence and I'm creating this table. I'll be storing my data in this table, delta logs table, right? So once you create all that, and then see, here it is executing this procedure and closing it. That's it. That's all what this program does. Now the question is that this is the user exit program, but how to execute that? How can I execute this user exit program? Can I go here and just say run? Can I run that here? So let's say run here. Can I run like this? Is it correct to run it like this? No, you should not run it like this. Why? Because this value, this value, this value, who is going to provide these values? Informatica should, but if you run it here, Informatica will not. So you can't run this user exit here. You can only compile it, validate it. To run this user exit program, you have to run it in the this tool. How to run it? Let's see. So first, to run it, export this whole thing to a jar file. So go to jar and next Clear, simple, I'm telling you. Again, I'm showing you. Export jar. Okay, don't say EJB jar something, just jar, Java jar. Next. Okay, then UE.jar. You can select, give it a name, UE.jar or some other name. Next, then just say finish. So in my desktop, here I go. My Java program is in this jar file. What is a jar file? It's an executable Java code. Jar file, executable Java code. Okay, and done. Now this contains my program. So I'll go to the hub and I will simply import that particular program. I'll go here. So let me go to ORS. Let's say, okay, let's check class 2 or let's check class 3 only. So let's do it here. So here, go here, take a lock, click on this plus in this user exit plus, go here and UE. Choose this UE, open. Okay. All right. Now pre-stage user exit. So now the user exit program has been imported here. It's done. How to execute now? Can I right click and execute it here? No. You use user exit program, you are not supposed to execute it. Informatica will execute it when it's necessary. So pre-stage user exit Informatica will execute it if you run a mapping. If you run a mapping, Informatica will execute that. So if I go here and run a mapping, let's check if it's executing. Let's start this. It should fail. Okay. And if I check the region, it should tell me that, see here. So fail to process a user exit. Okay. Why? Because this procedure we have not created yet. This procedure, right? So let's create this in the database. So ORS class 3. Done. Done. Now you try F5 if you're in Toad. Okay, so this is done now, right? And if I check my delta logs table, then there's no data. That's right. Now let me run this job again. It should not fail now. Running fine. Refresh. Done. How do I know if my user exit is executed? I can go here and refresh this. So here I go. Total 2 records. Count is 2. And let's say if I run the contact and an address also, then I should see count for that as well. Can you see? For this table, this is the count. This table, this is the count. You run it again, party, you will see one more entry again with a different ID, different date. Right? That's what is nothing but archiving the delta counts. Okay? So you can also see this information in the logs. If you go and check the log files, like here in the application server logs, if you go and check it, then this will tell you the user exit was started. So let's say if I search from here, user exit, see here, user exit, pre-stage user exit starts here. So that is nothing but this line. And then the row ID, landing table, staging table, data table. So that is nothing but your row ID, landing table, staging table, delta table. Okay, you can see here, delta table was created. So you understood, right? It's a temporary table that is created and it's dropped again. Right? That's what is the concept of user exit. So you install the Eclipse and JDK, then Eclipse, then try to implement this. And you also try to understand this thing theoretically, whatever I've explained, go through this. And you can also like uh, imagine issues in your company, like what issues you might face, and then you anyway, customization is something that there's nothing to imagine, because once you get it, then only it's done. Because customization can be literally anything, so there's no limitation on this is done, that is done. But anyway, these 10 cases that I mentioned is more than enough. You don't need to check anything else, right? You try to implement that. Plus I have also given the code for post stage user exit, post stage, that is about archiving the rejected record. That also, you if you want to implement, the code is there for that. Post load is slightly complicated. Post landing also you can implement, right? If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I think we are done for today's session. Okay, so you go through that and you try to implement the user exit. If you have anything, we'll discuss tomorrow, right? Thanks, guys.